Hello, friends, and welcome back to Total War Rome 2. HeirofCarthage here, and yes, we got a good one for you today. This is going to actually be a smaller 2v2 version of Sub-Commanders, which, honestly, I don't know exactly how the rules work for each player in 2v2 Sub-Commanders, because you're going to have to split the roles a little differently. However, I do know that this is going to be a fun one because it is our newest faction, the Caledones, hailing to you from north of Hadrian's Wall, and coming forth to face off against Epirus to see if they can redefine the Pyrrhic victory. We will find out, but check this out, folks. We have a unique situation here. The general for the Epirotes over here is a Molossian dog unit, so they have brought their hounds to the battle. And if we swing over to this side, the general for the Caledones, or Caledoni in this case, is also a dog unit, and they have brought their hounds. So this is definitely going to be a battle to see who's the biggest dog in town, who's the leader of the pack, if you will. Alright, yeah, we won't go any farther into this. I think you all get where this is going, but this should be fun. We've got a couple of dog units, and I think it's hilarious that both generals are the dog handlers here. So this is two dog-loving peoples bringing their warhounds to maul each other and find out who has been the better dog trainers. So we've got some Caledoni riders out here. Now, for those of you not familiar, these are skirmisher cavalry, nothing super impressive. The Caledonians are not amazing in terms of skirmish cavalry, but they make up for it with their foot skirmishers. These lowland archers are going to deal heavy damage. They're going to not be super survivable, but they can sneak like this, and they'll be capable of a lot of damage. They're being guarded by some lowland Fianna, and it is almost spotted here by the Tarentine cavalry, and probably has been already, but we can see those lowland hunters there guarding as well. So nice little bit of, guerrilla deployment there for some forced maneuvers. There are Tarentine cavalry here as well for Epirus. Those are always a good pick. They are decent in a melee against very light units after they've thrown their javelins. So those Caledonian riders kind of splitting up. There are a couple more units over here. There's some lowland horse hidden over there. As far as the main meat of the army here, there's shamans for one general, and of course the other one, like I said, is the dog unit. Now the shamans have the chant ability, so it's going to be an interesting unit there. It's meant to encourage the others around it. We do have a lowland noble that's a very potent sword cavalry. There's a number of highland pikes, and then there's these Fianna and more Highland pikes, so several Highland pikes backing up basically a line of Highland axes, black blades. Black blades are the unit that was ported straight over from Attila. Looks absolutely amazing here, just like it did there. These guys they mean business. Black blades are a very serious sword unit. Some Caledonian axes in front of them, more Fianna. Let's go check out the Epirote army, because this should be fun. They've got a line of slingers up front, and then backing that up, or sorry, I guess heading it, are some militia hoplites. Thessalian cavalry, excellent pick. Cheap shot cavalry, very damaging on the charge. Some mercenary Rhodian slingers, at least on that flank, and yep, another on the other flank. So a lot of range power here for Epirus. And then as far as an infantry line goes, I see some Illyrian levies, Thuriel spears, mercenary Samnites, Agrionian axemen, which, remember, in this mod are a little different. They come with a full 120, but their javelin damage was nerfed a little bit to match up, but they are a actual hybrid melee unit at this point. So it looks like 3 of the Agrionian axemen, a couple of Italian swords, the mercenary Samnites, a veteran hoplite for one general here too. That veteran hoplite, remember, comes with that elite hoplite spear, 105 armor. Very tough unit. Very tough unit. There's some mercenary Etruscan hoplites. They are also carrying the elite hoplite spear. So again, should probably expect that one to put up quite a fight. So this should be interesting. I mean, there's definitely some capable melee on both sides. Axes are good against armor, like the hoplites, like the Samnites. But those axes are not going to be quite as survivable. But, again, they could be able to get some damage done, kind of like cheap Suebi infantry does, potentially. The Highland axes are a little more survivable, definitely capable of getting a little more work done there. So again, axes are going to chop through the armor, which will provide a nice benefit there. There are multiple shaman units here, so that chant ability should be pretty prevalent here, and it's kind of got a noob square, honestly, for the Caledones, they're keeping in a very protective stance here, probably out of worry for the cavalry that they have to beware of here. And speaking of cavalry, did I see an Aspis companion cav somewhere? Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. No, we got the dogs. Thought maybe I'd seen one for a moment, but I don't think I did. Of course, they would need to be very careful if such a thing was here, but nonetheless, I mean, these Thessalian cavalry, these are going to be dangerous. They are going to hit like a truck into low armor units, which the Caledones have in fairly high numbers. But the Caledones right now working a little bit of a flanking thing here to force the Epirotes around the battlefield. These lowland axes pushing with the spears and the archers, and when these archers come to bear, it could be dangerous for Epirus on one flank. But if Epirus makes a decisive strike before the rest of the Caledonian forces are in place, it could be very bad for the Caledones. So this is an interesting one because it's a little bit of cat and mouse here. You attack early, you may gain an advantage, but if you can't finish things quick enough, then you're going to end up getting hit on the flank. And I think at this point, Epirus realizes, you know, hey, there's no real reason for me to get in a hurry. I'm just going to continue to maneuver and put myself in a better position. And that's exactly what Epirus is doing here. They're just maneuvering around and kind of denying the open flank to the Caledones. And now you can see they have the Caledones all along one line. So this is definitely a bit of helpful maneuvering for the Epirotes. Let's check this out here too. Already a second win coming in on the veteran hoplites. They might have been tired from all the running around. Those heavy units, yeah, you can see some of them are winded. So it makes sense to get that, you know, really heavy hoplite unit and go ahead and give them a second wind here early. Some of the slingers are in range, and they're pitching a few shots out here at the Fianna and getting some kills as well. That's not going to hurt anything. Tarentine cavalry trading blows with the Caledoni riders, and it looks like they're both taking damage here. Maybe a slight edge for the Caledoni riders at the moment. Oh, this is interesting. They're going to go for a melee here. Maybe hoping to take advantage of the charge where the Tarentines didn't get one. That's going to be interesting because the Tarentines are a little bit heavier of a unit. This one took a nasty charge there. The other one not so bad. Though its numbers were lower. It was hanging on, at least temporarily, but it's going to get overwhelmed now, I think. So an interesting charge there by the Caledonian riders, which I think will probably pay off. There is still one more Tarentine cavalry. There's still dogs as well. And dogs can get used a couple of ways that are going to be interesting. One, they can... So kind of the way dogs work in this game is a unit can't give an attack order on the dogs. They can only give an attack order on the handlers. And so what'll happen is if the dogs get released and they start attacking a unit who's turned the wrong way or something like that, they can absolutely destroy it. However, crafty players do know ways to kind of stop the dogs. I'm trying to remember all those. I think some of it has to do with the direction you're facing, being able to halt and let them fight, and then there's a couple other little weird quirks that people might be able to add in the comments when it comes to dogs, but you can use them to disrupt charges, you can use them to chase down skirmishers, you can use them to disrupt cavalry. There's lots of things, and here you can see those dogs are going to get released, and presumably, let's see, they're heading for the archers. They're hoping, yeah, to get through this gap, and you can see the enemy here. I mean, maybe the javelins there, where they did that kind of cheeky javelin throw. They were definitely headed for the archers, looking to get as much damage into them as possible. And you can see that the dogs that got caught on this spear are getting beat down, but the ones that made it back to the archer are absolutely devastating it, and they've already routed one of the lowland archers. So that was not a bad play there to get rid of one of those archer units. The Molossian dog handlers, let's see, they are up here now too. Where did those dogs end up at? Someone let the dogs out, but Air lost track of the dogs. And now I'm not really sure where they're at. But yeah, it looks like the... oh, no, the Molossian dogs were the ones that got released, sorry, on the archers. I'm confused. I was thinking of the Caledonian noble who has not yet released the hounds. My bad. I was getting confused on to which side of the battlefield I was on. Boy, these Thessalians are eating it from those archers. Archers are quite good against cavalry whenever they get to stand still and get a couple of shots in there. This Samnite warrior is pushing back all the lowland units over here, understandably so. Island axes now coming in against that mercenary Etruscan. That's going to not be a great fight. Oh, yeah, look at those Etruscans. They took some damage early on in that one. Let's take a look at this. The Thessalian Cavalry over here, 61 kills, crushed a Caledoniax. And it looks like the Caledones still got some other units here. They've got some Highland Archers. Highland Archers are be a slightly better version of those Lowland Archers without the stalk, I believe. But they're going to do just about the same amount of damage. And the Archers, 2 of the units got dealt with over here. There's still 1 Lowland Archer that appears to be putting fire into the General. Not a bad choice. The General, though, looks like he's going to break through here and go for those Archers. Could be chasing that Lowland Axis that was routing there. It turned around, and those Archers are going to get nice rear shots into it. Both players are choosing to shoot open infantry flanks from their opponents. That's not always a bad call. In fact, a lot of times it's quite a good call. Veteran hoplites. Let's see if the the dogs for the Caledonian nobles still in place. They have not been released yet. Pretty good size engagement going on over here. Some of these Caledonian pikes pushing forward now. I'm curious how those units will perform. They've actually got a decent number of kills there, 27 kills. They're different from the Highland pikes. So Highland pikes, I'm assuming, are a higher tier unit than the Caledonian pikes, but that's 30-something kills on that pike unit already. There's 56 on the Highland pikes. It's not bad at all for a pike unit. I mean, you'll take that to the bank anytime you get a chance. Militia hoplites. Look like a veteran hoplite is pulling itself out. Or, sorry, the Etruscan hoplite. Those Samnite warriors absolutely crushed that light infantry. Look at that, 223 kills already. Like, that light infantry did not have a chance against all that armor. Mercenary Italian swords are being used to hold the shamans. And they are doing some chanting. There's a Highland pike in there with the shamans. But it's not formed up into a pike phalanx. There it goes. So now it got the pike phalanx. And a lot of attacking from the front there by the Etruscans. A big blob into those pikes. I don't think that's really what they want to do. This Caledonian pike got attacked by the flank by that Samnite warrior, which would have mauled it, but the Samnite warrior gets absolutely crushed by archers who shot it in the back and just destroyed that unit. It's well done. It's not dead yet, but they might be wishing they were after those kind of volleys. This Highland pike is picking up a lot of kills in this melee. It's up to 91, 92, 93, yeah, it's climbing. So, I mean, that chant in there with the pikes was an interesting one. So the shamans not doing anything amazing, but you got a Highland axe unit and the pike mixed in here. This is going to be a tough nut to crack unless the missiles do it for the Samnites here. I keep wanting to call them the Etruscans. Not quite the Etruscans. Bit of a difference here, though we will see some Etruscan units mixed in there. Now those pikes are getting a nice number of kills there. Despite taking some heavy fire there, too. Up over 100 kills. The shaman's still pushing in there. Let's see if the dog's still present. Yeah, the dogs are still present with the Caledonian nobles. So this unit may just be kind of biding its time in terms of where to release those dogs. This might be a good angle through here, though. You could get to a whole lot of missile units if you got the right angle there. Let's see how this goes. I mean, to me, it looks like the Caledonians are kind of getting worn down in terms of infantry. They had some units get a respectable number of kills, like this Black Blades, not so much. Man, that Black Blades has gotten absolutely shut down. They have not done well so far. Only 26 kills. That's a very expensive unit to be getting so few kills on. Looks like that center routed out for the Caledones, so that's going to find them in a bit of a rough position here. To see how this one finished. Here comes the dogs. It looks like they're just being sent straight into the infantry. Kind of surprised we didn't see a potential end around to try and get into all those skirmishers, but maybe that wouldn't have worked. I'm not exactly sure. The dogs are in here helping to chew through that Illyrian levy. Let's check out some of the kills there. We can see these kills are actually coming from the dogs because they're out there in combat. So you can see they've killed about 20 of those Illyrian levies. Hard to say how many of the actual dogs have died there because it doesn't track that in any of the statistics. But here come the Caledones charging in with their nobles. Shamans are going to come forward as well, and there's Thessalian cavalry now. Back here in the background, this Black Blade got charged here by a Thessalian cavalry. It didn't get killed though, and it's going to have slingers now being thrown into combat here. It'll kill a lot of those. No, they're moving forward to try and get the Highland axes back there. My bad. Makes sense. There is a Samnite warrior way back here in the back. It's got quite a few kills. That was probably some of that light infantry was out there working on. Right now, the battle very much against the Caledones. They are holding on to a lowland noble. Again, this is a very powerful melee cavalry, but they may just be concerned about losing it too easily. Oof. This lowland horse causing a lot of havoc back here with the missile units. See that Caledonian noble pushing through here as well. Looks like some dogs running through as well, chasing a unit. They are chasing the Thurio spear, which is getting absolutely shredded. You can't turn your back to the dogs or else they will chew you up in a heartbeat. Look at what it is doing to that Thurio spear. That unit is getting absolutely mauled. 189 kills, 190 on that noble. Holy cow. If that unit doesn't turn around and face those dogs, it's going to absolutely get destroyed here. That is an incredible number of kills there from those dogs, and that's a big deal right now because the Caledones need everything they can get. Look at this. Samnite warrior running back towards its position and gets smacked by a heavy sword cavalry. That's not going to be pleasant for the Samnite warriors, but that charge didn't quite seem to land the way I would have expected to. It's very strange. Not that many kills, actually. And then it's going to go charging headlong into a Thurio spear while taking missile fire. That is not going to be good for the lowland nobles. They're going to get just eviscerated here by all that slinger fire and the spears. That is definitely bad news for the Caledones if they were hoping to mount some kind of comeback, because that unit had the potential to do a lot of damage, and it took a tremendous amount of damage there instead. Kind of see what happens here. I don't expect these shamans can hold out against this many Samnite warriors, especially those that already have 112 kills. They're about to pick up a chevron and get even better. There are still Highland axes. This Black Blades has not been killed yet, despite being down to 30-something entities. So it is possible that we could see the Caledones turn this one around, actually. It didn't look good for them a moment ago. The Samnite warrior is still a very menacing unit on the battlefield, but at the same time, I mean, you got the Black Blades and you got the cavalry. I'm pretty sure they can shut down that Samnite warrior. They've got a couple of regrouped Fianna out here that might be brought in as well. Unless the replay has glitched out, it's possible that they may have put an update in on the mod and then glitched the replay slightly. It's like, for instance, I don't know where this unit's running. Yeah, the replay may have gotten a little bit glitched here. I'm not 100% sure because the weird... Some of these orders look like they make sense and others not so much. Like this unit almost looked like it was chasing this one, so it's very much looking like this replay glitched out here potentially at the end. There may have been an update to the mod that changed things slightly after this battle was played. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward to the end of here, but again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the players were just talking it out or something. I don't know, but it sure doesn't look like it. These orders and the way the units are standing around strike me as very odd and unnatural indeed. But I'll go ahead and let this one play out just for the sake of. So unfortunately, we didn't get to see exactly how this ended, though I would imagine that most of the first of the battle was probably a fairly accurate representation. We're going to see all these units dogpile on the Samnites, and I would expect that the Samnites are not going to be able to hold up against all that. So it ends up as a victory for the Caledones. I'll let Vortigant, Alexander, Magnus, or Sol speak to exactly how this one ended up. Because, like I said, I definitely feel like we had some glitch out going on there. But it's an interesting matchup between these two factions, especially 2v2. That changes things a little bit. I mean, Epirus definitely has some excellent cheap shot cavalry. They've got a good skirmish capability with those, what do you call it, the Tarentine cavalry. They're not amazing, but they should be just as good as the Caledones. So this one's an interesting match, in my opinion, because the Caledones can chop through some armor. The Epirotes have a fair amount of armor if they choose to take it. But they also have a different play style with some of the cavalry. The Epirotes also have good access to solid skirmishing, which so do the Caledones, so it makes these two kind of more equals there. It's just a different type of skirmishing, because the Caledones are going to use those archers. The Epirotes are really going to rely on slingers. So definitely a little bit of a different world, and those slingers did get some serious damage in. So some good damage indeed, and some of those mercenary Samnite warriors racking up some serious kills, as well as these Agrionian axemen doing well there too. Look at that Moloshan dog, 241. 352 kills, though, on the Caledonian nobles. So an impressive dog mauling there, if we've ever seen one. Nice Vanguard deployment. Hey, appreciate the players. Hope you all enjoyed this one. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. We'll be back soon with some more action in Total War Rome 2 and other Total War games. See you there.